Racing takes place on Tuesday, the 21st of February 2023. We are racing at the Vaal on the classic track, and we do have 8 races on the program. I'm joined by Alistair Cohen on the line. Alistair, how are you doing? How's things over at Maidan as we edge closer to World Cup night?
Yeah, Raheel, everything's good. It was the penultimate carnival meeting on Friday night. We've got one more coming up this coming Friday night, the last carnival meeting before Super Saturday, which is obviously the first Saturday of March, and then the Dubai World Cup on the 25th of March. So a lot of things in place, a lot of exciting horses from around the world potentially coming out to the UAE for the World Cup. I think Super Saturday is going to be very good as well. I think the race of the night on the World Cup is going to be the Shima Classic. They're horses that are targeting the race coming from Hong Kong, from Europe, and from and obviously Japan as well. So I think that's shaping up to be the race of the evening. The Dubai Turf is also going to be a good race. Funny enough, it feels like the Dubai World Cup is a level below last season, but every other race I think is going to be a few levels above last season.
And would it be fair to say the race that you're looking forward to calling the most would be the Shima Classic?
Well, simply from an ego perspective, the Dubai World Cup is the race that everyone watches. It's the race that goes around the world, and anyone who's got a remote interest in racing will be watching the Dubai World Cup. It's the same as turning up at the Hollywoodbets Durbanville, but say hypothetically this year, and all the big horses miss it. They'll be targeting the Champions Cup at the end of the month or whatever the case may be, and you end up with a slightly underwhelming July. But then, for example, the Garden Province has got all the top fillies and mares. You've got a big field of, say, 16 runners.
Yeah.
You can't think of anyone that's missing the race. All the horses are rated 110 and above. You know as a purist which race the better race is, but you also know which race holds most water, which race everyone's watching, and to be fair, which race everyone really wants to win. So it's one of those, 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. The quality's one place, but the world's watching the other place.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking forward to World Cup night, which is on the 25th of March. Now, race number 1 at the Vaal on Tuesday, 12 is the time you need to get your bipod bets on. 1,200 meters the distance. It is a maiden plate for the fillies and mares, and we do have one scratch in. That's of number 13, United We Stand. Now, it's certainly not a strong race. It's going to be a race where you possibly have to take a stance when it comes to your selections and your numbers for the bipod. Number 1, Simply Magic, your 16-10 favorite. A maiden after 8 starts. It's Damned If I Do at 2-1. Silk Garden 11-2. And then it's 10-1 and Better Bar those. Now, Simply Magic and Silk Garden, both horses that are drawn out deep. Damned If I Do, drawn in gate number 6, Roy Magner, Gavin Larena teaming up here. Disappointing last run, went backed into favoritism, didn't manage to feature in the top 4, returns off a rest, and could be the likely improver in the lineup.
Raheel, my suggested bet for this meeting is a bipod, and I've opened up with a banker in the form of number 7, Damned If I Do. I cannot believe Simply Magic is on the top of the boards from that draw, and I think she is what she is. She's a battling maiden. She'll get her win. She probably will win a couple at the right level, but from that draw, she is going to have her work cut out. It looks like she gets ridden for luck, so that might help. And the better the pace, the better for her. Silk Garden is also a battling maiden for her to be fairly short in the market. I see that she's around 5-1. So, that's probably where she stands. But Damned If I Do, the first run, I think, sets her up as the potential winner. Rose Patrippy has won. Silver Clock has won. Bird in Space has won. This was a long time ago, 31st of May. You're right. Long time ago, sparingly raced. So I think that suggests that there might be a couple of issues with number 7, Damned If I Do, but if everything's in order and potentially a soft track, if she does have a few issues, will help. I think number 7, Damned If I Do, under Gavin Larena, with the benefit of a good draw, coming in a place, obviously, with a scratching on number 13, United We Stand, and possibly coming in another position if Southern Style doesn't make the cut, then I think everything points to her as the likely winner in a fairly shallow race.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at the balance, there's not a lot of these horses that inspire much in black and white. So it's sort of hard to look past horse number 7, Damned If I Do here.
If you start looking for other, you can make a good case for number one, Simply Magic. But for the draw, I'd take her a lot more seriously. But if you start going through the others, you're going to be running around in circles.
Yeah, absolutely. Horse number 7, Damned If I Do, a banker in the opening leg of the bar pot for Alistair. Now we're going to move along to race number 2 on the program, which is a maiden plate over the 1200 meter trip. And it does look to be a 2-horse race, a boat race between numbers 1, Fish Eagle, and number 2, Black Egret. Black Egret obviously returning from the Cape, where he ran in 2 work riders events in his last 2 outings, beaten into 3rd position on both those starts. In fact, all 3 starts in the Cape, beaten 3rd. If he has to reproduce a run like that second behind Kian the Conqueror, or even that second behind Mythical Dream, he should be in the winner's enclosure in this lineup. Hopefully he just doesn't need that comeback run. And then Fish Eagle, a much better performance last time out behind Time Together. Ryan Munger is obviously on Black Egret. Gavin Larina aboard Fish Eagle. Pole position draw. I thought it could just be a 2-horse race here.
It is a 2-horse race, in my opinion. With regard to Black Egret, I just hope coming back from Cape Town doesn't catch him out. I don't think it will. And also what lingers in the back of my mind with Black Egret is that he's been carded to run and accepted with a few times and keeps getting scratched. So I don't know if we can read anything into that. The penultimate start at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth when he ran behind Gimmy's Laddie. Gimmy's Laddie hasn't run. Ozonker, who ran second, has. He ran dismally. But the horse who ran 4th, Master Point, has come out and won. So that's a reasonable piece of form. He comes up against number 1, Fish Eagle. I think Fish Eagle's good. I don't think the pennies dropped with Fish Eagle, weirdly enough. Gavin Larina takes the ride. I wonder if Ryan Munger's going to have a sleepless night on Monday leading up to this race, because I'm sure he would have been offered the ride on Fish Eagle, but being the retained jockey by Ashley Fortune, he would have naturally had to ride Black Egret. But I wonder if he's not a little bit worried about Fish Eagle, especially out of barrier 1. I'm not convinced he's the most genuine around number 1, Fish Eagle. I thought he had every chance to run past Time Together last time and just wouldn't go past Time Together. With that said, I think Time Together is progressive. But I think the 2 of them will run first and second. In which order? I'd probably go with number 1, Fish Eagle, over number 2, Black Egret, but don't hold me to that. I think you can take boxed exactas and perhaps build up a little bit of a bank leading up to the first leg of the Pick 6.
Yeah, absolutely. Numbers 1 and 2, when you have a look at the place accumulator, bipart, those 2 horses do set the standard in the second race on the card. Now we're going to move along to race number 3, which is the start of the Pick 6. It's the Fillies and Mares 74 handicap over 1200 meters. And your favorite in this lineup is Lushozi Shoop at 12 to 10. It's then 4 to 1 about What You Waiting For. There she goes at 7 to 1, 8 to 1 about Letitia's Angel, and it's 10 to 1 and better by those. Now it's a race where I think betting could just be slightly off here, because I think 12 to 10 about a 3-year-old carrying top weight, having to give weight away to more experienced contenders. I don't think she's going to have an easy job. And personally, the way I've played the PA, I'm looking for a result. I've gone 7, 8, and 11, so it's horses at decent prices here. But what's your take on the race, Alistair? Do you think that these 3-year-olds could just be good enough, carrying top weight and having to concede weight all round?
I'm with you. I'm not convinced with number 1, Lushozi Shoop, in this race. If she's going to be any good, then she ought to win this race. She beat a decidedly moderate maiden field, and she beat it very, very well. It was hands and heels. It was an encouraging win to the eye for number 1, Lushozi Shoop. But now she's got to give weight away to all these experienced hard knockers. It's not going to be very easy. So even though I think she's got something about her, she's a half-sister to Celestial Love, who of course won the Camellia Stakes, or the Camellia Stakes that Celestial Love won for Johan Janssen van Vuren. Half-sister, so genetically this daughter of What a Winter, should have it between the ears and in the legs to be all right. She's been entered everywhere, and this is likely the race that she's going to have her second start. So she could win by 5. She could go completely missing. We'll learn a lot about her after this race. Number 2, What You're Waiting For, I've put in because I like the way she was staying on last time behind Wind Water. I think she's developing still. So number 2, What You're Waiting For, could be the horse. But then she's pretty much in the same category as number 1, Lushozi Shoop, a 3-year-old with a heavy weight, but just a more experienced 3-year-old. So I think we've got to give her a lot of respect. And then I've thrown in 3 horses in my bar pot that are at big prices. 2 of them are in your play. Number 7, Samoa, who Gavin Larena absolutely loves. She's so overdue her next win. She's been a real soldier for Bridget Stardoff. Sean Patterson, of course, runs the show up on the half vault. So number 7, Samoa, you know what you're going to get from her. A solid run. If not winning, she'll go close. 8, Letitia's Angel, likewise, also a very likeable daughter of Fatala Palace. She runs her race, so she shouldn't be too far away. They're both pretty much cut from the same cloth. And I've got 20 to 1 shot trained by Jaap Visser in my bar pot as well. Number 6, Lollapalooza, because the last time she ran on a wet track, on a very wet track, I think the sting will definitely be out. I expect it to be good to soft if there is no more rain. There's no forecast for rain leading up to this meeting and throughout the week in Joburg, so we should be in the all clear. But the last time number 6, Lollapalooza, ran on a very wet track at the Vaal was on the 5th of January. She went up at 20 to 1 and she beat Letitia's Angel. So with Malasela Kajedi's 1.5 kilo claim, I'll throw her in and hope that she can burgle a second.
Well, absolutely. Now I'm tempted to throw in number 6 as well into a mix because she looks to be actually well in here with that 1.5 kgs off the back. So yeah, she's certainly a horse that I don't think you can discount at around 20 to 1 in the market. So it's a race where it's either you're in the camp of the 3-year-olds, that's numbers 1 and 2, or you're looking for horses elsewhere. And both Alistair and myself, we're looking for a bit of value in the race, and we're going with the more experienced, older horses who have more wins under the belt in the opening leg of the pick 6. Now we're moving along to race number 4, which is going to be run at 10 past 2 on the afternoon, 2,000 meters the distance. It is the start of Jackpot 1. It's a fillies and mares 85 divided handicap. Rarotonga Rose, your 28 to 10 favorite. Silver Hills at 4 to 1. Quiet Rebellion 5 to 1. Kai and Judy, Trump My Queen, both at 7 to 1, and then it's 8 to 1. And better bar those. Now I've gone with a few horses in the PA, numbers 2, 3, and 5. Kai and Judy, Rarotonga Rose, and Quiet Rebellion. Rarotonga Rose, she's improving nicely. Last time out, Banner Bridge was the winner of the race, and I thought quite a smart ride from Cabello Martignane. Caught Raymond Danielson and Keegan DeMello napping on that occasion, where Namakwa Blossom and Rarotonga Rose ran on strongly, but not strong enough. And obviously well done, and I'm sure you were very pleased with that run of Banner Bridge, and you did fancy him on that occasion. I remember when we did the show, you mentioned the times, and it was spot on.
Yeah, made him a good thing. I think you were doing Rarotonga Rose a disjustice because Banner Bridge was obviously he's a champion. So no disgrace in running less than 3 lengths to Banner Bridge. Perhaps crucially, only getting half a kilo from an experienced 6-year-old. So I thought it was a good run from number 3, Rarotonga Rose. Even though she lost her winning sequence there, I'm still of the opinion that she's improving. I don't know what her ultimate level is. She doesn't strike me as the type of filly who's going to win a Will Avington, or she doesn't strike me as a filly who's going to win a Group 1, but she might be effective in a race like the Oaks, which is, of course, a Group 2. I'm sure they'll target the Oaks trial and the Oaks with number 3, Rarotonga Rose. So, yeah, I think that she's got a very good chance of going in again. I'm a bit uncomfortable with how I've read this race, I must confess. First of all, we've got to establish, is Silver Hills going to run here, or is she going to run on Wednesday night? At the time of recording, Silver Hills is scratched in neither because she's caught in the Gurley Mile. The dynamics here, I think Sean Terry would be more leaning towards the Gurley Mile, but the fact that this is 2,000 meters, he's probably scratching his head on Monday morning thinking, what am I going to do? Because Silver Hills, I think, is crying out for this distance. If Silver Hills runs, she's waited to beat number 5, Quiet Rebellion. If she doesn't run, then obviously take out number 4, Silver Hills, and include number 5, Quiet Rebellion. I think that's the easy way of working around this race. Number 2, Kind Judy, ran on nicely behind Flying First Class last time. Flying First Class over 1.5 miles in that field was an absolute good thing. So Kind Judy was best of the rest. On a line through Rarotonga Road, she's got to go close. There's 4 lengths between them. She's got a very favourable swing at the weights of 4 kilos. So I'd expect Kind Judy to be sniffing around where number 3, Rarotonga Rose is. But to cut a long story short, 3, Rarotonga Rose, my first choice. If Silver Hills runs, I think that she'll run a big race. If she doesn't, then replace 4 with 5 in the bar pot.
Yeah, Silver Hills, I'll tell you the reason why I didn't include her, because last time out, I thought Quiet Rebellion went past her quite comfortably on that occasion. I know they both going over 2,000 meters now, but Quiet Rebellion's got the draw. She's going to get the run off the race. And I think that she's a horse that's got the confidence on her side. Cabello Matsanyane aboard once again. And a 2-point penalty for that victory looks to be quite kind. So therefore, I went 5 ahead of the 4. But no doubt, number 4, if she runs, she's a horse that you have to include into the mix. But Rarotonga Rose, a top choice for both Alistair and myself in race number 4. Now we're going to move along to race 5, which is another fillies and mares race. This time it is at the 70 level. It's going to be around over the 2,000 meters. The start of jackpot 2. 14.45 is the time you need to get your bets on. I've gone a bit wide in the place accumulator, 2, 5, 7 and 12. Your favorite is Red Maple at 28 to 10, 11 to 2 about Stunning Kitten. It's then 6 to 1 and better about those. Now Red Maple, it must be said that she didn't beat the strong soft fields last time out behind Roslyn. She got the job done quite comfortably, but as I mentioned, it was not a strong field by any stretch of the imagination. Stepping up in trip, further improvement can be expected, but horses like last year, horse number 5, which is Call the Wind, the 7 horse, and horse number 12, so it's Field of Vision and Lil Miss Sunshine. What's your take on the race, Alistair? Are you a Red Maple fan or are you looking elsewhere?
I haven't got Red Maple in my play. It was her first run in blinkers, and she obviously stepped up with that run. But how much improvement did she really make in that race? I've got the form line here right in front of me. 2 horses have run out of that race. On the guest list was beaten 6 3/4 lengths. She followed up with a very, very poor run in the Work Riders race, beaten 10 lengths by Spring Will Come. Spring Will Come took forever to win. And the other horse in that race that ran was Bally Cotton, who ran in that same race and finished just in front of on the guest list. That is a very, very questionable piece of form. And now she's got to give weight away. If she wins, good luck to everyone that's on her, but I'll be without you. And I've still gone in with 4 horses here. I've gone 3, 5, 6, and 12 as my numbers, and I'm just hoping to survive. Let's go in numerical order. Number 3, Tinder. I'll tell you what the key for me in this race is, Raheel, is that a lot of horses are going to be ridden for luck. So the better the pace, the better their chances. And just looking around for a bit of pace, maybe Stunning Kitten will go, but she's not guaranteed to go off to the front. She just seems to be versatile enough to be the one, and hopefully she's not the sacrificial lamb. I suppose Burmese Tiara could also go, but she's got to have serious stamina question marks going this type of trip for the first time in her life. So, yeah, Tinder Dry coming from off the pace. If the pace is right, she could be closing in. Gavin Lavina takes the ride for Fani Bronco. She's knocking at the door. 5, Call the Wind, who's coming from Zimbabwe, has been a slow developer in South Africa, but she's getting the hang of things. Then it was up for Roy Magna. Number 6, Arden Park, might just need this run, but she is absolutely crying out for this distance. I see her at a price of 14 to 1. Pekin DeMello takes the ride. Her last run to Lady of Power was very encouraging, considering that Lady of Power subsequently won the Group 2 Wilkebos Drift Karting Fillies Guineas, so she needs to be respected. I think she's got a good each-way chance. More a place chance than win, though, to be fair. And then number 12, Little Miss Sunshine. Ryan Munger's up for Heather Adamson. She, too, will be likely coming off the pace. She's running in good heart at the moment. And I suppose that she'll be a lot more fit than some of the others in this race because she's been on the boil since the start of the year. She's already had 2 starts, so maybe that will count for a lot.
Yeah, fitness on her side, and she certainly will enjoy the conditions as well. Number 7, Field of Vision. I thought last time out, quite a fair run behind Just Be Nice with beaten 4.5 lengths. That was her returning off quite a lengthy layoff. She could just need one more run to tighten up, but I think she's a horse that will enjoy the step up in trip and the conditions as well. And then number 2, last year, absolutely loves the distance. 2,000 meter specialist. Drawn in gate number 1, not really an advantage for her, given that she's a horse that likes to be dropped out and run on at the business end of things. But I think given her form over the distance and course and distance as well, she's a horse that must be given some sort of respect in this lineup at around 14 to 1 in the market. So quite a competitive race. Is a sort of jackpot 2. Red Maple, certainly a horse that is going to have a work cut out in this lineup, and there's certainly lots of value to be had elsewhere. Race number 6, and the 6th race on the program is going to be run over the 2,400 meter trip. It is a Fillies and Mares 74 handicap. 20 past 3 is when you need to get your bets on. Namakwa Blossom, she certainly looks to be the horse that they all have to beat. Obviously, we'll see how Rarotonga Rose does perform in the earlier race. And if she does come through to win, then I'm almost certain that Namakwa Blossom will shorten in the market and probably start at around 4, 5 to 10. I think she looks to be close to a good thing in this lineup here, Alistair. I think she's improving nicely. The distance is no concern at all. Raymond Danielson gets on well with her. I know you've thrown in number 5, Rosie Lemon, into the mix, who Namakwa Blossom rather has to give her a bit of weight. But I think ability-wise, Namakwa Blossom could just have an edge.
I agree with you, Ricky. I think Lucky Hirilakis is the happiest person in Vereeniging because he's been able to split Rarotonga Rose and Namakwa Blossom for the first time in a while. So he's obviously he splits at the casino in a game of blackjack. Hopefully it all goes according to plan. It doesn't bust. Namakwa Blossom is the right one in the race. Of that, there's no doubt. I think that she's also getting better and with each and every start. Flower Alley fillies, obviously, love stepping up in distance. There are quite a few that are around that have probably overachieved in going over a mile and a half. And number 2, Namakwa Blossom, could well be a case in point. So she is the one to beat, as you mentioned. If Rarotonga Road runs well, if she wins, then that'll just boost the confidence about number 2, Namakwa Blossom. I think she's the one that they need to beat. The reason why I've included number 5, Rosie Lemon, they have met before. That was on the 1st of November, which is obviously a great day. And there was 3 3/4 lengths between them. And Rosie Lemon comes in with a very useful weight turnaround of 5 kilos. I think that Namakwa Blossom has progressed from there, and even though Rosie Lemon has also progressed, her progress has been a bit slower than Namakwa Blossom. So in my heart of hearts, I think Namakwa Blossom will have the edge over number 5, Rosie Lemon, but I have respect for her. I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to try double up in the bar pot. I think I will double up in the bar pot with 2 3-year-old fillies in a 2,400-meter race. None of that really adds up, but I think that Namakwa Blossom is very good, and I think Rosie Lemon is generously treated here at the weights.
Well, if you manage to meet Namakwa Blossom out of that buy pot and you manage to come through once, I'm sure you'll be very, very chuffed, because that will certainly be a bit of a result in the final leg of that buy pot, race number 6. But 2 and 5 for Alistair, those are the 2 numbers he's throwing in. Namakwa Blossom, no doubt the one to beat in race number 6. Now, the penultimate race on the program goes off at 5 to 4 on the afternoon. And this race is going to be run over the 1,600-meter trip. It is a MR80 handicap. And I've gone with horse number 9 here, which is Celestial City, as a banker in the place accumulator. Now, Celestial City, last time out, it looked to be a winner. Going through the 400 even. I mean, Keegan DeMello was absolutely motionless. But when he popped the question, Celestial City found absolutely nothing under pressure. He ended up running 3rd. It was an exacta for the Fabian Habib stable. He's drawn in gate number 2, dropping back down in trip to 1,600, which could suit him a lot better. Cabello aboard, and he's a horse that he could run well, but whether he's going to win, I'm not convinced. Toffas, obviously a horse that you have to have healthy respect for, given the way he won last time out. So he's a horse that if you're looking for a bit of cover, he's possibly the right horse in the race. But your take on race number 7, Toffas, your top choice?
I don't really have a top choice in this race, Ricky. It's a complex race. Celestial City just, in my opinion, didn't stay last time. But when you look at his profile and the way he runs, is he genuine? I'm not convinced that he wants to win. I've had this discussion with Dees. I'm not too sure I've had this discussion with you. But I reckon Sean Terry is dying to gull this horse. But I reckon that with that type of blood that he's got, being a full brother to Hawam, being a half brother to Rainbow Bridge, being a half brother to Golden Ducat, that if he were to earn a bit of black type somewhere as a colt and as an empire, that would make a stud career quite appealing. It's a horrible situation to be in. I don't know what to make of this race. I give a lot of respect to number 1, Climate Control, if he doesn't need the run too badly. I know that he won a week maiden when he called that race on the 19th of May, and National Star took a long, long time to get out the maidens herself. But he's held a reasonably high level of form. Raymond Danielson, I think, will suit Climate Control just to keep him quiet. Number 2, Invincible Warrior, I think, is a very good horse, but he's likely to need the run. If he runs midfield, I'll flag him up for next time. And then number 3, Toffas, he's in such good heart. He absolutely trotted up last time over this course and distance. If he's able to get into the striking position off the bat from a deep draw, and I reckon your options are limited from that deep draw, then he can be very, very difficult to chase down. If he's in the same form that he was last time, he could be the one that they all need to beat. And then another horse that I have quite a lot of respect for down the page is number 12, Bushveld. He won a work rider's maiden, a weak work rider's maiden, but he comes in here with a light weight, so he could be under the radar, or she rather could be under the radar and ready to run a nice type of race. Very, very complex race. If you put me in a corner, I probably would go with number 3, Toffers, if he's in the same type of heart as he was last time. But a lot of respect here for numbers 1, 9 and 12.
Yeah, 1, 9 and 12, the horses that Alistair has a bit of respect for. Yeah, it is quite a competitive lineup when you have a look at the field, and a race where in the pick 6 you possibly want to include quite a few, and hopefully you manage to survive race number 7, because it doesn't look to be all that easy. Now, race number 8 on the program, you need to get your bets on by 25 past 4 on the afternoon. It's an MR68 handicap to close off proceedings, 1600 meters the distance. Fixed odds betting market have Mr. Maloney at the top of the boards. Weak favourite at 11-2, along with Oyster King and Big City Girl. Just imminent at 7-1. Time for that 8-1, and then it's 10-1 and better bar those. I've gone with numbers 2, 5, 9 and 15 in the place accumulator. That's just imminent, Montmorency, number 9, Maboneng, and Big City Girl. But Alistair, race number 8, the guys that hoping to survive this in the last leg of the pick 6, what's your advice for them? How many horses do we need?
Oh, what a horrible question. What a horrible question. You know who I like here? I like number 3, Black Lightning. Fabian Habib trains. Donald Gibson takes the ride. I thought the last run to Son of Raj was a fair effort. I know Son of Raj was a trifle disappointing the next time, but still ran well enough in defeat. The run on the 29th of December, even though there's been no winners from the form line, I think there are a few horses, Sky Velocity, who ran 5th, came out and won out of that form line, but I think there are a few horses in and around Black Lightning who will win soon. And I just think back to the same course and distance on a sticky track like it was when he won. He might just grow an extra leg and be competitive. Am I suggesting to punters and viewers that they need to go and have the right money on number 3, Black Lightning? Absolutely not. What I am suggesting is just make sure he's in your play. He's the type of horse at a reasonable price that you don't want to let run loose. He's at about 12-1. So he's my value of the race. But all the horses that we got in, I think, warrants a lot of respect. Number 2, Just Eminence, has taken such a big drop in class. With Gavin Larena on board, that's a big plus. Gareth Van Zyl knows how to travel. His stint down in Cape Town suggests that. So number 1, Mr. Maloney, despite giving weight away, I think needs to go into play. Number 4, Oyster Kings in good heart. 5, Montmorency, I know that you've got him in. Yeah, I can have him. I can have number 5, Montmorency. 7 times for that is always in my play. You got 9, Maboneng. I'm not convinced about number 9, Maboneng, if I'm honest, but we'll go and we'll make this a team effort, so we'll throw her in. And I'm looking for a horse down the page with a lightweight. Obviously, number 15, Big City Girl's got to go. I've tipped more than half the field. Take a quartet with all the horses I've mentioned. Number 14, Lutsuli, another Fabian Habib horse. Oh, he's got a horrible draw. It's a horrible, horrible race, isn't it? I think what I'm going to do in the last race, I am going to take each way number 3, Black Lightning, and I'm going to go with the boxed trifecta with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 14 and 15. And hope that the horses at a big price run somewhere in the frame.
Yeah, it's quite a competitive race, Alistair. Sorry to put you on the spot there. But yeah, it's a race where I think you possibly want to go as wide as including the field there, if the budget certainly does allow. Obviously, if you do fancy a horse, then certainly you have to throw that one in. But horse number 3, Black Lightning, at around 14-1 in the market. They each way play in the lucky last race on the program for Alistair. But horse number 2, Just Eminent, want to keep a very close eye on. As you heard from Alistair, taking a huge drop in class. Gavin Larena aboard, and he's actually well drawn in this lineup over 1600 meters. So he could just be a lively runner and a horse that could go very close to winning at around 7-1 in the market. Now we're going to move along to the suggested bets part of the show. Alistair, take us through your bipod bet, and hopefully the last leg of the bipod you manage to double up and you can stand in the winner's queue.
Yeah, and just with regard to that final leg of the pick 6 and place accumulator, you would love to have fields going into that leg. and charging home for something like Gregor McGregor from a horrible draw. That would be nice. Right, so my bar pot gets underway in race 1 at 25 past 12. I'll open up with the banker number 7, Damned If I Do, just because of the other horses with form being drawn deep. So 7, Damned If I Do for me. By 1 and 2 in the second leg, Fish Eagle and Black Eagle, I think good chance of doubling up. Then 1, 2, 6, 7, and 8. I'm not convinced with the short price favourite, the unbeaten Lashorzy Troop. If she were to win, then I think she could be a proper filly. But it will be a nice test for her. I've got it in. So 1, 2, 6, 7, and 8 in race 3, which is leg 3. By 3 and 4, which are Rarotonga Rose and Silver Hills. If Silver Hills doesn't run, then replace 4 with 5, Quiet Rebellion. Then in the 5th race, I'm just hoping to survive with numbers 3, 5, 6, and 12. And then the final leg, I think I'll double up with 2 and 5, Namakwa Blossom and Rosie Lemon.
Yeah, thanks for that, Alistair. That's your buy pot for racing on Tuesday over at the Vaal. My place accumulator, first leg, numbers 1 and 2. Alistair and myself both think it's a 2-horse race between Fish Eagle and Black Egret, followed by numbers 7, 8, and 11. We don't quite trust the 3-year-olds in that lineup carrying top weight. By 2, 3, 5, by 2, 5, 7, 12. By banker number 2, Namakwa Blossom. By banker 9, Celestial City. By 2, 5, 9, and 15 in the final leg of that PA and the final race on the day, which certainly does look to be an absolute minefield. Alistair, thanks very much for all of your time and for your insight into racing on Tuesday over at the Vaal. You're telling me that it's going to be a quiet weekend for you, a lot quieter than just this past weekend. And Saturday, Cape Derby, looking forward to seeing Charles Dickens back in action. And I'm sure that the Bass team, along with Aldo De Meyer, they'll be looking to set the record straight.
Yeah, I don't think he's got any records to set straight. I know he got beaten in the King's Plate, which at the time was a bit disappointing. But he beat Jet Dark and Comet de Dun. That's good enough to win. I know Justin States sent an army, and I don't think that army is there just to make up the numbers and just to run for second. There's going to be some game plan, but I think number 2 Charles Dickens is the superstar, so I expect him to win.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to seeing Charles Dickens back in action on Saturday at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Once again, thanks to Alistair Cohen for all of his help when it comes to these high-felt meetings. All the best, guys. Hopefully you find all the winners on Tuesday and you in the winner's queue after race number 8.